Hello, we're back.
Our
second
first
half
break
of this
ever.
episode.
Our first break ever in the
I
middle
say
of a
second
Love Boat
half,
show.
but we really only got through about a third of the episode so far. We get Leslie and Ava here talking. She's apologizing again for not spending time with him. This time she was working on a book. She's writing a book now.
I really don't think we've done enough respect to Leslie Nielsen in this episode, playing the straight man, playing the pre-Frank Drebin.
Pretty funny guy, but you still see the funny in him when you look at
him. You can't not see him.
I love that about
that
that, though. You know what I mean? Even though this is 77, I'm sure if you put on Forbidden Planet or something
every
like
time
that,
I look at him, I'm expecting like Frank Drebin to come out, and it doesn't happen at all, but it's there.
I mean, some of the best lines from Airplane are just, surely you can't be serious.
The straight man lines,
and
yes.
My sister's name is Shirley, so I can't tell you how many times I've said or played that clip.
I am Shirley.
Don't call me
Shirley.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Don't call me Shirley.
And just,
great line.
And then
who thought of that? Like those Zucker brothers, man. Who wrote that?
Like, how are you not cracking up as you wrote that? It's just,
and that's such a dad jokey kind of thing, but they didn't call those dad jokes back then. That was just gold, Jerry. That was just funny shit.
Oh man!
Now my kid would be like, "Okay, dad joke. I'm surely."
Well, when they watch all the old movies now, they're like, they already did this in this movie, and you're like, yeah, but this was first. This movie came before that one, 40 years before that one. Come on now. Here we go. But so Ava's getting Ava's writing her book, and Leslie makes a point like, why am I even here? You could have just brought my picture.
It's they're married. They're a married couple.
And they seem happily married.
And yet he's kind of pissed that her career is overshadowing their vacation.
I really wonder what he does, because you don't find out what he does.
You never find out what he does,
but
right?
he is very adamant about was very adamant about how he could pay for this cruise earlier on, and I don't know, it just seemed like he said he would rather be on this cruise that he paid for it rather than
or like a cruise where she has to work. She's doing a seminar and stuff like that.
A quick lecture on Sunday. Forget about it. She's going to Mazel Tov, Acapulco, and the other one, Puerto Vallarta.
Men are so proud of their sugar mamas now. If their wives are making more than them, great.
Yeah, I mean, if
I went on a cruise with my wife and she says I have to work a couple hours, I'd be like, good.
She's like,
see ya. I'll be up on deck.
You'd be taking the pictures of her feet for the people online, right?
Wait, what about my wife's feet?
Doesn't she? I was just making a joke that she's like a feet model or foot model. I didn't want to go dirty, so I went foot model. No, I didn't want to be discussing. Michelle's upstairs. I'm not going to be mean about Michelle.
Maybe she should come down and show us her feet.
I was just saying that.
I missed something. What's going on here?
I was just trying to make a joke that, along with your, Michelle was working, so that was what she was doing.
Tonight, Michelle's going to be like, stop looking at my feet.
I would have accepted hooker, but foot model.
See, I chose to go. I chose to go a nice way, not so that's why I didn't go hooker. But maybe I should have.
That would have made more sense to me. So your wife, the hooker, I'd be like,
call his wife a hooker. It's fine. Say something about his wife's feet. He's like, huh?
What? I don't understand. Is Quentin Tarantino directing this?
Quentin, if you're interested in coming on our podcast, we'd love to have you.
Come on.
Now that's a podcast that'll go on for about 7 or 8 hours if we could get him down here just to sit down here and talk.
I'm sure Quentin Tarantino's just chomping at the bit to be on a podcast.
You never know. I mean, he said he's only making 10 movies and he's already made 9.
Let's get him.
He may love the Love Boat too.
I bet he does.
He may have Isaac and Ted Lankeby in his next movie. You never know, because he does always have that. There's always that one guy look at this guy. He brings back.
I remember him from a million years ago.
So good. Bruce Dern in Hateful Eight. How great was he?
He was great.
Django the Steward.
That's pretty good. You should have given yourself the drum rim shot there, but or even the laughter.
It's hard to
Even the laughter would have been great there, right? He could have got a little.
When you cut off the laughter in the middle, it just sounds so terrible.
Leslie comes over and he orders a couple of rum Collins. I always thought there was Tom Collins as a drink. I don't
know what a rum Collins is.
Is
that Tom Collins mixed with rum?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds delicious.
What's in a Tom Collins?
Tom Collins is gin.
It's too dry.
Gin, man. I'm not a gin guy at all.
My parents
I like Tom
gin.
Collins though, but a rum Collins sounds really good.
So these guys are all
two rum Collins.
They make a joke about the fact that Leslie
Yeah,
Nielsen left a
he left a
$3
$3
tip, but he
didn't
didn't pay for the drinks. Which, as we know, in this modern day, and you don't pay for any.
I was just
going
going to say that isn't that always? It's usually
it's
included.
just
Back
part
then,
of-
it probably was too, right? I mean,
Nah,
is that
because
too
I think
much?
I think you used to have to pay.
You know, I'm going to keep an eye. I don't know if I ever see people paying Isaac. That's a
but
good thing to
nowadays
look at.
it's like every drink is just paid for.
Leslie's trying to give her a drink, but she's surrounded by ladies asking her questions again here. So Leslie just
All
saunters-
young women asking this older lady about advice. Like, what could she possibly be?
Dear Beverly is
dispelling
really
to her?
popular. I mean,
I guess.
and this lady notices Leslie with his pants pulled up a little high here.
Way
I
high.
noticed.
Oh,
And
they are
another
so
scene.
high later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I-
Past the belly button,
I was
way
like,
up high.
I was waiting for him to go, look at it. It's nice and slow. See? But he sits down with this lady really instantly. It was really fast.
I thought it was
and we got our favorite lady, Keg, walking by, and she notices that her sister says, that's dear Beverly's husband with that girl. And she smacks him on the shoulder with
quick
her
at
purse.
dispensing justice with.
But they
purse.
walk off too, and then it's like nothing said. He just stares off, and
he's not kissing her or anything like that. He's just sitting with her,
and
his wife's right
and it's
there.
not even like they were. It's not even like they were sitting close. It was like they
Yeah,
were sitting opposite each other.
But
speaking of sitting opposite each other, I haven't pushed the table
You have
today,
not.
so it's
It's
pretty
good.
good. I'm proud of
the
myself. for
woman
that.
that Leslie Nielsen sits down with, I thought was a Heather Locklear person at
combo,
first. I was like, oh,
yeah,
who's
yeah,
that?
yeah.
And then it wasn't either one of them. It was Lily something. She's not anybody. She didn't become anything.
Funny thing is, before Kay hits him, she says, "Oh, that's a nice couple." And then her sister says, "That's dear Beverly's husband."
Right.
And then we get Chef Al, throwing ketchup into the sea or the ocean here, which I thought that's not good for anything, right? I mean,
That's not good. You're littering. And what about the other
What about the
599
turtles?
other people on the cruise ship that want ketchup? Are you going to judge them for putting ketchup on their food?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to put it on their lamb, but some of them are probably going to have it on their hamburger or
French
something like
fries.
that. Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things about a show like this that is so.
What do you think about chicken nuggets? Would you dip? I don't like ketchup for my nuggets.
No, I put like barbecue sauce or something like
Yeah.
that probably, but they never. This is from the 70s, so it's a little different than the way cruise ships are today. But you know, there's like multiple places to get food on these ships, and Al is controlling all of them and not letting ketchup be served at any of them. And as we'll find out later,
Yeah.
are they all serving food to all those places? It's not just dinner with the captain. It's dinner on the Lido deck and the promenade deck and the
Yeah,
coral
dining room. That's
and-
nice that you picked up on that. So you're picking up on stuff that you say you don't hear or catch. So that's a good one because I have that written down. Coral dining room later on.
So it's
But
just
here,
funny
Al
that
had a great line here where he said he called Steubing Christopher Columbus. He said, "Ooh, he aims his ship to Mexico," and then he goes dancing for a week. So he's basically had a nice dig at Steubing there. And then the captain said something about it's harder than commandeering a ship's harder than scrambling eggs, which goes back to the eggs that were coming onto the boat in the beginning. So I
wow,
wanted to
callback.
yes,
Nice.
we do callbacks on this podcast, which I think is fun. It is a fun thing when you do a callback.
I would just like to say that making scrambled eggs, it's a lot harder than just scrambling eggs and putting them in a pan.
yeah,
I have butchered scrambled eggs in my life.
and I like my scrambled eggs a certain way, like just starting to turn golden brown. You know,
I even said to my wife today, "Can you make eggs for me?" Because I knew I'd mess them up. It's the one thing I can't do.
do you burn them or
they're just not
they
good.
End up runny? I hate
when
runny
I do
scrambled
eggs, it just never turns out right.
do you put anything in it, or is it just
Well,
egg?
we made like kind of like an omelette-y thing with like onions and peppers.
Do you
and
whip them so that the albumum's all completely
the
I
what now?
do,
The
yeah.
who?
I mix it with a little bit of milk,
What was that word?
and then I mix them up.
albumum?
Is that the,
Albumin?
is that the like the membrane
That's-
thing?
Yeah, the
Well, the
thick,
yolk. You want to
know,
break that up,
snot
right? Yeah,
looking
so-
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't mix it before you put it
Oh,
in the
sure,
yeah,
sure,
that's what I'm
sure.
saying. You put a little milk
It's
in
not.
there.
It's not
and-
the pre. It's the
But you get it to
during.
But you get it to a consistency that's all
See, I
smooth,
use
yeah.
water because the milk will tend to burn.
See,
Yeah, water is better than milk.
I like the milk. I think that's what makes it. I think that's what helps it give it that golden
I'll
brown.
use milk
yeah.
in like a frittata or a quiche or something.
Michelle will make an omelet for me with the onions and the peppers and the cheese in the middle and flip it and all good. Mine is like scrambled eggs with shit in the middle of it. And I'm just like, throw it on the plate. I'm like, yeah, that looks great. So I don't even try anymore.
It still tastes the
I
same.
I haven't made eggs in years because I'm just like, listen, I'll make the coffee and do the dishes afterwards.
How
Can
great
you
is a
please
hard
make
boiled
me
egg though? That's so great. Easy.
I
do too.
Well,
love
I
a
like hard-boiled
egg.
eggs, but it's not the kind of thing I just want to have on a Sunday breakfast kind of thing.
I
you
wouldn't
know?
mind it. Like a couple of hard-boiled eggs, just crack them up and pour a little pepper on
Salt
them.
and pepper. Yeah.
When I ate bread, I like the over easy, and then with the toast
Yeah,
with
that's
the
good.
yolk and
Slice of pork roll.
I don't eat
Oh
bread
my
anymore,
God.
so
I had scrapple this morning.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
I was 257.5 today. By the way,
Oh,
Nice.
that's unofficial. It's not on the work scale, which is the official scale, but
That's pretty good though.
that would be 26 pounds.
and that's been what?
damn.
2
weeks?
no first day of August
Oh, I
or
thought
whatever
it was,
that Monday
Why
was.
did I think it was 2 weeks?
that first
Okay.
week of that first Monday of August.
Okay.
This is
So
for
a little
Lobo podcast.
So it's a
the
little
people
over,
that don't listen to the other podcasts have no idea. what's
it's
going on.
only a little over 3 weeks. So
It's
20
been
23
three
days,
full
right?
weeks,
23
full
days,
weeks.
yeah. That's not bad.
So probably a lot of that is like the impacted fecal matter coming out of your colon.
There it is. That's
I don't want to talk about
Dr.
Sun Lobo, but
Brian.
I will go into depth about that on the other podcast.
tune into the podcast that cannot be named. I don't know what episode that is, and
What is this,
I do not know
11?
when- I don't know when that's being released, but
Never get it right.
those episodes might be coming out. They might be 5 minutes long after the edit because there's a lot of stuff on there that I don't know can get out. You know what I mean?
The editing's going to be insane on those.
It's gonna be like, hey,
What? What?
So Chef Borga runs off here. Al Molinaro yelling, and as Gopher tells him that it was
Stewie
just
saved the ketchup, but
oh, that's right. I have something important to say here. I think
so
yeah.
did we talk? I don't even. We got so distracted. Oh, with the ketchup, we're talking about ketchup and yeah.
Real quick though, before that, Chef Al was yelling in Italian, and Gopher comes up, and Stubing's like I don't know what that was, and Gopher says it was an Italian semaphore.
But
Do you know what a semaphore is?
isn't that the half horse, half man thing? That
No, that's a centaur.
Oh, sorry.
That's a new thing for you now. That's great. Andy learns. Is that what you call it, the podcast? Right? No, a semaphore is a system of sending messages by holding the arms or two flags on poles in certain positions.
Oh, so that's like the.
According to an alphabetic code.
So that's like international code for choking.
It's almost like
The
the
state
airplane,
international.
like when you're like guiding
It's-
an
it's like
airplane
that.
in, like you know, like,
But it's the kabuki.
that one works on video.
pat
The
on the
kabuki.
face.
You were just talking about.
I
That
was gonna say it's like the state's international, the international sign for choking. But
All right, yeah. So I'm sorry. What were you saying?
oh, when was I saying it?
He was saying something, right, Brian?
Well, I think it's gonna happen now.
All right, you want me to hit play?
So
here?
so Stubing saved the ketchup, and he's about to start wheeling it in, and he says,
Oh,
some guy walks
yeah,
by.
I
and
know.
he's like,
I got a name.
Alvin.
Alvin, yeah.
Is it Alvin? So that's the second cast member or the third?
That's the second one in this episode.
I think there's three
But there
though,
was
right?
I don't know if there's 3 in this episode, but I can't remember. But there's 2 in this episode, and we had at least 1 in
The guy that
another
fell down the
episode.
stairs with the Jinx with Ray Bolger.
But Captain asked Alvin to take it down.
He said, "Alvin, take it down." Lance was the one that he said.
I was this.
something
We don't get a
earlier.
lot of gambling so far on
This is the first time
right?
I think we've ever
think
actually
so,
seen
yeah.
anybody actually gaming.
And it was
Those machines are loose too.
Ooh,
like they're
very
wiggling
loose.
around.
yeah, they are
Very
very
loose.
loose, and they were very loose once Gail got to them, which is
But
coming up.
but Jeff is gonna.
Jeff is
Spencer for Hire is gonna loosen him
Julie's
up
holding
for
a lot of quarters here from Mr. Vega $.
Vega $.
And he's losing hard here, but he's holding on to that, like you said, he's holding on to that machine as he pulls the arm, because if he doesn't, I think the whole machine's coming
You
down with
almost
that
feel
arm.
like, is there a tilt on this machine?
You'd think they'd have him a little more secure, especially just, like they only need to secure to one that they're filming on. But Bobby here finally,
I hate slot machines so much, man. They are such a garbage thing to gamble on.
we're gonna get a TV
But I
trope
do like
here very quick.
They do have the arm still. You're pulling the arm. Now it's just like touching buttons.
Yeah, we're sorry, Caesar. We do love you.
You could
you and your wife love them.
You
I
can
don't love
still
them.
pull the arm on some slot machine.
But most of them are just touching the buttons.
oh yeah, they're just
Garbage. That's not gambling.
I
That's not gambling.
I will put a 20 in as I'm like waiting to go
I'm
play
not saying I
poker
don't
or
play
something
them.
like that.
I
Yeah.
say it's garbage
Yeah,
gambling.
but
though.
every now and then, if you could hit big on them, like I was in Vegas, I hit for 250 on a Wheel of Fortune one, just putting 20 in before I went to breakfast, and it spun at the top. I got 250. I won that, but at the same time, my cousin was playing a machine behind me, and he hit for 1,000.
Nice.
So it was like, let's go to breakfast.
Michelle plays those garbage ones where it's like all the lines. It's like 5 rows and the lines go.
Where you're
and
playing
you
like
don't
70
even-
lines. You don't know.
Don't even
It's up,
know.
down. It looks like, yeah.
You don't even know why you win or why you lose.
But you just look at how much it was, and you're like, that paid $30 bucks.
And every once in a while, I look over his shoulder. I'm like, why didn't that pay off? There's like 1,000 lines all zigzagging all over the
And
place.
it's
She's like,
all
I don't
blinking.
know.
It's blinking. You're like,
And
oh,
she-
I see. Oh, I see. Is that my heart rate?
And she doesn't even know why
looks
she
like your
wins.
heart rate.
She doesn't know why she loses. It's just, oh, look, I won. That's not gambling. That's shitty, man. I'd rather just sit and get cards, and if I play them right or play them wrong, I lose or win. But like,
What about the Oompa Loompas?
Oh, the
Willy Wonka?
Willy Wonka
The Willy
machines.
Wonka machine. That's a great one.
That's a fun machine. I played
it's
the.
still
I like the Game
all
of Thrones
garbage.
machine too. That was.
but
fun.
they're all the same. They're all the same.
But you know what? And this, maybe I'll show you guys after. I'll find a clip of it. But there used to be 2 machines at the Showboat that I loved to play before I would go play poker, and it was an airplane machine,
Nice.
and you had quotes from airplane being
There
said
you
as
go.
you
Now
played.
that's cool.
And there's also cool Flintstones machine. I played that in Vegas. I think I played it in AC. I don't know if they still have it, but there was a Jetsons machine I thought was fun. Walking Dead was stupid.
I was in
Somebody listens to that
Atlantic
podcast.
City. I was in Atlantic City years ago, and we were down there to see Van Halen when David Lee Roth got back together,
Okay.
and it was Van Halen. This is like
Good. That's a good place to see 'em.
2004.
Was it at the
or something
Boardwalk
like
Hall
that.
there or whatever?
Yeah. And we were walking through the hotel that's right next to there. What's right next there? I don't even remember, but
Caesars, right?
Was it
Yeah.
Caesars? Okay. And we're
Where
walking through, and they had
Trump Resorts was there too.
And
It's kind of in between them two, I think,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
and they had a Star Wars slot machine there. And
Okay.
Michelle like did the head. You
Yo,
see
check
that?
it out, yeah.
And I'm like, I see it. And she's like, are you going to play it? I'm like, I don't have to play it just because it's Star Wars. I'm like, it's still a shitty slot machine.
You know, we played it.
And she's like, do you want to play it? I'm like, well, I'm going to play it, but I don't have to play it just because it's Star Wars.
But I'm gonna.
I sat and played like, I played like $20, which lasted like 30 seconds in that thing. But I was like, there,
I've played,
fine. You happy? I played the Star Wars slot machine. You happy? Now I'm down $20.
There's different Wonka machines too. Now that you say it, there's several different Wonka machines. There was a cool Wizard of Oz one I played before.
They're all terrible.
But
all
they
slot machines are terrible.
Oh yeah, but I mean, the themes make it fun because then at least you can hear quotes from like your favorite.
Heidi. Do you ever play Heidi?
No, I don't
Heidi
think
of
so.
the Alps.
Yeah, it's a beer one. And
Does she go,
she
oh,
pulls the
yeah.
beer,
It's-
and it'll make all
And beer comes flying down?
and it's all wild.
It looks like that one should be. It
whatever
looks
she
like that one
pulls
should be
out.
called Titties and Beer.
Yeah.
It really does. I
Not-
know what one
so
you're.
we're not talking
I know
little-
exactly what one you're
We're
talking
not
about
talking.
now.
Where are we talking?
It's
At
a slot
Caesar's?
machine. It's a slot machine
it's
at
all
all of them,
over,
pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those ones. It's
It was
not.
on the cruise ship.
It's one of the ones. It's like I think it's a green background, and it's like a lady holding 2 beers. She has blonde hair,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Blonde hair.
But Heidi's like a little girl.
I know it's
no.
not really Heidi.
This was Heidi the whore.
I don't think her name is Heidi. I think it's something else.
Heidi,
And what's
the
funny
later
about
years.
it is I called it Titties and Beer, but I got that from
Beer.
I got that from my mom, who says my
What?
aunt, my
Your mom?
my aunt. I want to sound correct because if I say aunt, I sound like
Is she a prim and proper aunt, or is she a big fat smelly aunt?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like if I say aunt, are people going to make fun of me because I'm from New Jersey because I say aunt instead of aunt?
I
what's the
think
correct
aunt's the
pronunciation?
right way.
Aunt or aunt?
I say aunt.
I say aunt as well, but I think if we were like somewhere else, like if you were in Chicago, to be like, oh, that's my Aunt Connie, who is a.
I think that's good.
Cunt.
I think aunt is like a British thing.
Okay, but so then I'll say my aunt says it.
Yeah.
So that my mom told me that my aunt Janet calls it titties and beer. So that's pretty funny. I think.
So we got to that point.
How do we get there? That was really weird.
7 hours.
Andy's
into-
fault.
Oh,
again.
because of the
Why my fault?
you said slot machines sucked, and we just wanted to talk.
That's
about,
all I wanted to
that we,
say.
we,
is
we,
slot
we wanted to
machines
talk
suck.
about the themed ones. That was the problem there. Oh, we're getting closer to halfway.
We're getting closer to halfway.
Do you have to stop that if we record too long? Remember that one time? Didn't you have to stop it?
Oh no, that's because I didn't have it plugged in and the battery like wore out.
This is your producer, Andy.
Good Lord.
If this all goes dark,
wouldn't
then we'd
that be
have to
terrible
start.
if we ran out of time on this and people missed this awesome content?
I think there's been some fun stuff talked about here.
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, this is all good.
You
This is all
guys-
gold.
You guys have a really high opinion of this shit.
Andy, it's just us, so nobody else is really going to listen to this. So why not? Why can't we just say we're fucking awesome?
Okay, we're fucking awesome.
There it is, everybody.
You heard it.
Brian.
Andy said it. We're fucking awesome.
Okay,
You're
so
terrible.
after Bobby loses at the slot machine,
Bob E. Lee, Robert E.
Robert E. Lee, Bobby Lee, the comedian. Bobby Lee is
Bobby
the
Lee.
comedian. I like him. Bobby Lee.
From Mad TV.
Yes.
Chevy Chase introduced himself in Fletch Lives as Bob E. Lee when he was Robert E. Lee.
Yes.
Bob E. Lee.
Well, Fletch
Fletch
podcast
Lives.
on our Patreon coming soon. We'll watch Fletch and talk about
Fletch
it.
is one of the best movies of
I don't
all
think we'll
time.
watch Fletch.
Lives? It's fine.
You want
It's
to do?
not
We'll
great.
we'll do both then. There, I have no problem with that. You like Fletch?
I did. I showed it to my kids, though, and they hated it.
Yeah, because they don't. It's of a time, I think.
Did they?
They thought it was too slow.
I think. Do you think?
Slow Fletch? Really?
Yeah, they
Dude,
didn't
you
think-
know what? I
didn't
think they miss a
appreciate
lot
it.
of the humor, like because a lot of stuff like Lakers watch, like that shit's really funny. But I don't think kids would pick up on.
Yeah, I don't
like
think they picked
why
up
that's
on it.
supposed to be funny or
Or wearing
you know
a
he said,
Fletcher with
he said-
6'3" with Afro 6'5".
didn't he say he it's a championship watch and he's like, oh, you played? He's like, no, somebody gave it to him, right?
Or he dated one or something.
Dated
like
one. I was. That's gold, but the kids
Which
today, I don't
nowadays I guess would be funny because you're just like, why is that funny? But it was funny.
It's hysterical in
At
80,
the time, it
what
was
that,
funny.
80,
5-ish.
But I think a lot of people have. I think a newer generation doesn't see the genius of Chevy Chase and sees him as arrogant and just like I loved him on Community.
Yeah,
by the way.
they and I think they love him on Community too. But
He's really good on Community, and then he got fired from Community. But
yeah, him and Dan Harmon didn't get
And
along.
Community's been off the air for 10 years, so
yeah, I mean, but he's older now and not.
he was older then.
Abed's got that new show, Mythic Quest. On,
Great show.
Yeah,
Watch
that's
both
very funny.
seasons.
Is that
yeah.
the one with the guy from
Mac.
Mac?
From,
oh,
Always
I didn't know
Sunny.
Abed was on there.
He does not play an Abed character at all.
I was gonna say those raps that him and
Childish Gambino did.
yeah, what's his real name though?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
I was about to
those
say
were
Crispin Glover, but
Oh,
it would have
Chris,
made,
I would
it would have
love-
made more sense if I said Danny Glover, but
now what was River's Edge was 86.
River's Edge, man,
This
great
ended in
movie.
87. How great would it be if we got a Crispin Glover episode of the Love
No,
Boat?
that
I
would
mean,
that would make no sense. No sense.
why?
Because this is not him. He was in Friday the 13th Part 4.
Exactly. So
final
why wouldn't he
chapter.
do a Love Boat episode?
Jason jammed a
I remember that.
wine opener. What do you call that thing? Corkscrew into his
His
hand.
hand.
And then when he turned, he smashed him in the face with a machete, or not a machete, a butcher's knife.
I'm
It was awesome.
I'm feeling Friday the 13th
Oh,
podcast.
listen,
but
I could do a Friday the 13th podcast all day. Starting now, I wouldn't even have to rewatch them.
I'd want to. I don't think I would need to rewatch all of them, but I would want to just because I'd take notes for our podcast.
I
But
never saw any of them.
we
we're
could talk
doing
about
it.
Crispin Glover, Corey Feldman.
But here's the thing.
Kevin Bacon's boner.
I think. I
Go
think
watch Friday the 13th.
I saw that. I saw that.
I'm sure you did.
we should watch that together. I think we need to watch that one together.
do you want to watch it right down here on the
we
big
could do-
screen?
on the
and-
big screen or up in the Poconos? I mean,
Oh, I don't know if I watch it in the Poconos because then it's in the woods. And
I
it's
know. I
scary.
think that's even scarier. And then,
I don't wanna be
and then we can see.
scared.
It. Then we have to watch Great Outdoors because they get a bear, and the bear comes in there.
I love that movie.
That's great. There's nothing but fat and
The
grizzle left on
old,
that
the old
plate.
96er was it?
Oh,
Right?
yeah, 96er. So how far are we into the Love Boat?
We are almost halfway. Right here, Bobby just leaves the slot machine. TV trope of character leaving that's associated with another character. You guys might not have picked up on it
Oh,
because
I
I don't
did
know how
not
far
pick
you
up.
know.
Well, I didn't
her.
pick up on the fact. I just picked up on the
But she
fact that she
plays the
went right to
exact
the next
same
one with the
slot
quarter and she
machine,
wins.
and she wins, but she catches a bunch of quarters. Doesn't look like she won a lot. That had to be maybe
Yeah, a
$12.
couple- Yeah, I was gonna say a couple bucks.
But
If she
Doc
catch-
wanted to split it 50-50, but she just gives him a quarter back.
I mean, Doc, come on, man. You need
Doc-
the money, really?
Doc-
You got a steady gig.
He's evil.
But the fact that Doc is spending all this time with her, it's almost like I not knowing where this episode was going to go. I was like, does Doc want to be the dad here? Does he want to like step in?
it was
What's he
very
thinking?
odd because you know we already think of Doc as creepy after a single woman, and he he goes after her right away when he finds that in the very first scene when he sees her. She says, "There's no Mr. Smith," and
Except Burl Smith.
but right there, Doc. That's when Doc hones in. But like, why didn't Doc say, "I'll sign her in and I'll check this lady in over here"? Like, there was still other people for him.
See,
to
I
maybe.
didn't think anything was strange about it because I didn't know she was pregnant.
You just thought Doc was macking on.
It was normal Doc.
normal.
He was just trying to.
You
get
caught
laid.
up on who her husband was, but you didn't catch.
You
the
thought
fact
she-
was pregnant.
I didn't know she was pregnant.
You just
till
thought she was
had the
thick.
baby.
What's that? THICC. You thought she was thick.
I didn't even notice that she was like had a big belly or anything.
But the shirt was like, right? I mean, it was a maternity shirt for sure.
She was
I think
wearing
I
a
was
muumuu.
texting you guys when I was watching this.
Who's you guy?
You guys.
What's that? Use guys. Our next scene, we get Leslie and Ava are at dinner at the captain's table, and dear Beverly's like holding court pretty much. Andy's yawning.
Sorry.
But
It has
again,
nothing to do with the boringness of this podcast or show.
Beverly was holding court with the captain and another couple, and someone else joins them at the dinner table. You want to mention who that is?
Stubing is like guffawing over her stories. She
Yeah, it was
is
a
the
little
funniest
weird.
person
Like,
ever.
I didn't think that he needed to be that into her.
And then the Heather Locklear Thomas woman shows up. It just so happens she comes and sits next to Leslie Nielsen. And he's like, "Why, hello there. How are you doing?"
And then when Captain says, "What is everybody getting?" Ava pretty much places her order with the captain. I thought it was funny.
I'm not your waiter. I'm your captain.
She said she wanted a steak, very rare, please, and then she went, "And the salad." I was like, I was waiting for Stubing to say what kind of dressing. But
that's. It's always good when you have to put the badunts in before it comes.
and then she said, "Oh, chocolate souffle is not on the menu." What a bitch!
And listen,
Come on.
oh, he calls over this guy.
Gopher.
Oh, let's Gopher. Never mind. There's a third.
I might have
Person.
it here if there is another.
Gopher's
So
not a waiter.
But here the captain tells Gopher to go request
But
the chocolate souffle.
Gopher's not a waiter.
But he's the Gopher to go do the dirty. You're the
this
one who
is
said
not
that to me
Gopher's
the other
job.
day in the last one of these.
Go
other
and get,
episodes.
not get a chocolate souffle
Go
made.
and tell the chef because I'm not leaving the table. I'm entertaining
do
guests.
I think this is a waiter's job, not Gopher's job.
You'd rather see Isaac do it.
Well, no, Isaac's the bartender.
But I'm saying you'd rather see Isaac in this situation than Gopher, or no?
Well, later on, I'd like to know who's serving the drinks when Isaac is making soup.
Now you're
That's what I
jumping.
really.
You're
That's what I really want to
you're
know. What's
jumping
going on
way
all the
ahead
bars,
here.
on all the decks.
I can't believe Stubing tasted it.
But
One of the lines from that was when Gopher said, "I thought it was garbage." I actually laughed out loud.
I thought that was
Laughed
funny
at
too
that,
because he
too.
was throwing stuff in there. He's like, "Why are you throwing the potatoes in here?"
Isaac's soup.
but now, so I don't know anything about chocolate souffle.
I was gonna
couldn't-
say, I've never had it
I couldn't
before.
tell you if I've ever had it or made it. I wouldn't
What
know
is
how to
it?
make it. But
Do you know
to
what it
all of a
is?
sudden request a dessert that's not on the menu because someone said, "I was hoping for chocolate souffle." This is insane. Be like, order off the menu or don't fucking have something. Like,
But you
that's
know,
it.
Stubing's putting in the request to look
not
good
an-
for
it's not
Beverly
an
here.
Easy thing to make.
It sounds like souffle
Doesn't
sounds
that,
like a
do,
hard
they
thing to
do they
make.
light that on fire, or is
No,
that
no,
that's flambe?
That's
right?
flambe.
Yeah.
Souffle has to. It's like a.
It has to
flour,
rise,
so
right? Doesn't it?
Has to rise.
Yeah, it's got a lot of air in the
Is it
middle
like a
of it, right? Yeah.
cheesecakey kind of like?
It's a very light and fluffy.
But to just
pastry.
flan,
to
Yeah,
just
flan.
request that, and he's like,
It's
"Well, we
very-
can do
it's
that."
very,
I am totally Team Al in this situation here.
I am too. I'm glad he said he didn't have chocolate. That was, or that's what Stubing says.
If we got whatever, what is it called again?
I don't know.
Chocolate
Souffle.
Souffle.
Souffle. You have to like order it like way ahead of time.
So, like, if you're at a restaurant, like she's placing her whole dinner order, that's when you should order it right then
Exactly.
and there.
You're going to tell them like like a
And they'd
half
say,
hour ahead.
"Sorry, it's not on the menu."
Or do you
order the
think they
ice
have
cream.
some already ready? Is it a cold? It's served cold,
No,
right?
it's warm.
So it's served warm. Do you think they have them already prepared and then just heat them up, and then like they have like maybe 50 for the night?
Oh, on a cruise ship they might.
They'd have 50 for the night, and then they're like, oh, we're out of that tonight. We gave the last one to the captain, or
because it takes a long time for it to cook.
so that's an obnoxious thing to request on a
Oh yeah,
on
it's
a
very
boat, then.
obnoxious. She's a bitch.
Dear Beverly, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the captain has Gopher go tell the chef he requested a chocolate souffle. And then the captain turned around and he's talking to Beverly, how she's like, "Oh, you are captain. You get what you want, whatever you ask for." And the captain's like eating it up. Stubing was just eating that up. And then Gopher comes back and says, Chef Borga said, "No way." Chef Al said, "No way." And the captain excuses himself here because he wants the chocolate souffle. So Chef said, "You want requests? You talk to the band leader." Captain calls him a short order cook, so they really start going at it here.
It's so funny. There's this other couple at the table. The captain's
That's
table
the couple that's wanted to sit with Leslie and Ava.
Was it?
That's the same couple.
The one that wants to make friends with the. But all they are there for.
Friends. Hey, let's eat with the captain. Okay.
All they're there for is reaction. You just go to them and they're like, oh, like that's it. That's all. They don't say a word. They're just,
they know souffle.
It
was almost
that's it.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
What a piece of shit.
Galaxy Quest, Toy Story. That's it. He can die after that.
Chef is here.
So
he's
Chef
requesting an apology letter here. He wants it by tomorrow. It's the last dinner he cooks on the ship, unless he gets the apology letter. And Captain says, "You call this dinner?"
I just like to point
Chef's
out
got that knife.
I don't know if I said it before, so I'm going to say it again. If I said it before, Al, chef on this.
He was on Happy Days.
Well, obviously on Happy Days. And wasn't his food always made fun of on Happy Days too?
You did bring this up earlier.
Oh, did I say it already? Okay.
Right, yeah.
All right. Then I won't bring it up again.
Yeah.
That was like 17 hours ago when this podcast started.
Captain comes back and tells everybody at the table that they're out of chocolate.
That's why we should never talk about things that happen later in the episode, early in the episode, because then I forget that I talked about it already.
I thought that was funny here. With you got something to say there, Brian?
I was just going to say that I think we're bleeding over into the podcast that can't be named.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm sure if I'm talking about Al's cooking early on, I shouldn't have talked about it early on. I should have talked about it now when Stewie makes fun of it.
Yeah, we did jump ahead on a couple of things. I think we're just excited to talk about certain things in this episode, and you didn't want to talk about what the scene was at that time. You're like, oh, he did this later.
This was an exciting episode, you know.
This one did have a lot more fun
This
things
was
in
one
it,
of the first Love Boat episodes where, the Stubing and Al.
There wasn't really a bad episode.
There wasn't a lot of like just in it for the laughs.
There's
kind
usually
of thing.
that one story that's like, wah, wah,
yeah. There's
wah.
always one where you're like, oh my god, really? I mean, these are the stupidest people, but all these are kind of serious-ish. Like with laughs, each one of them had laughs, but they were all also not in it for the laughs. They weren't just sitting there with Jack Tripper changing in a closet, or Milton Berle doing his gags, and Ray Bolger with his Titanic jokes,
and also for this one, spoiler alert, it's a happy ending. I mean,
they all end happy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Has there been a Love Boat that doesn't end happy?
Yeah, we've had some sad endings with Sandy Duncan. That was a very sad
I guess
ending,
that ended sad.
Right? I thought that was a sad ending because she doesn't get the kid that she thought she was going to get the
kid.
True.
And I can't wait till my wife ignores me and I can go bang some other woman.
After like 30 seconds.
100% okay.
After 30 seconds of ignoring you, just like, oh, she's not paying attention to me? What's up?
Remember when she gives the advice? She's just like, he has the right to fool around if he...
Well, I don't think we're even there yet because that's like
close to
17 minutes later into this episode.
We got to wait till Sunday when she's giving her lecture because that's when Gopher asks his question for his friend.
When did this boat leave? On Saturday? Are we only on the first day?
I don't know what day this boat left, but no, we're there. We're halfway, right? We're 26 minutes in.
All right, let's go because I might fall asleep before we get to... My yawning might turn into actual, I got to go to bed.
The chef said with his knife in his hand, "I'll make mincemeat out of you."
I'll make mincemeat out of that.
And then
what was that from? That was
The captain had a good comeback to that too. He said, "Where would you get the recipe?"
That is good. That is good. I think I laughed when I first heard it. But I'll make mincemeat out of that. What's that from?
Something? I don't know.
It's definitely from something. It's one of those Underdog cartoons that ran with Underdog. Tennessee Tuxedo and Klondike Cat and. I'll make mincemeat out of that. Mouse? Cat?
Oh, maybe a Looney Tunes? You
think no. It's definitely those Underdog. What are those cartoons from? Yeah, just keep
That's
going. It
tough,
doesn't matter. It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
So here, again, the captain says they're out of chocolate. And then Ava says that's fine because Leslie doesn't like it. And she turns and she notices that he's gone and he left. And a couple across from her, she says, yeah, he left. You even said goodbye to him. She didn't remember
Which we
saying
didn't see,
goodbye to
right?
him.
They didn't
we don't
show
see
us
him
that,
leave,
right?
No. And then Ava said that joke about one time her mom came backstage for her book signing, and when she was there, her mom was there, and she said that she said to her mom, "How do you spell your name?" to her mom. At this point, I decided to look up the ages of the three main people in the cast.
Good job. I usually do that. I did not do that this time. I'm glad you
Ava
did.
Gabor, I got Leslie Nielsen, and Al Molinaro. I got their three ages at the time of this airing of this episode. Do you want to guess their ages? We'll start with Ava Gabor.
I'm going to say she's
This is 1977.
55.
Brian,
I'm going to say like 62.
were we playing
I
Price
can't
is
go
Right?
higher.
If we were playing Price is Right, Andy wins because she's 58.
Okay.
Now, Leslie Nielsen.
All right. Let's see. Leslie Nielsen. He was big in the 50s. We know he becomes big in the 80s. He is 60 here.
I was going to say 62, so I'll say 61.
You guys are way off.
Wow, really?
Leslie's only 51 here.
Wow. He's my age in this?
Holy crap.
I look better than him here.
He's
I mean,
51.
I'm 100 pounds heavier than him. But
I wonder how young he was when he
went white, like
white,
Steve
yeah.
Martin went white at 22 or something like that. Yeah.
It must have been early on. And now
51.
Al Molinaro.
Okay, so this is Happy Days-ish. Did he make it to, like, I don't know when he died. I'm going to say he died in, like, the 90s. So I'm going to say he's, like, 65 here.
I'm going to say 55.
So we got a 65 and a 55 here. Hold on, I wanted to pull something up real quick here. Al Molinaro was also 58 in this episode. He was born in 1919, died in 2015. He was 90.
He made it all the way to 2015? Oh, my
He was
God.
96 years old when he passed.
I'll make mincemeat out of that. Mouse was from Klondike Cat, which was one of those underdoggy cartoons.
Yeah, I didn't get too into Underdog.
Oh, my God. I
Yeah.
loved Underdog when I was a kid. Ooh.
Brian.
I liked Underdog, too.
I did. I mean, I watched it, but I just didn't really watch it as much as like Land of the Lost.
When
and,
Sweet Polly's in trouble, I can't be slow. It's hip, hip,
HR
hip,
Puffin
and
stuff.
away.
I was
go.
doing acid without doing acid, watching HR Puffin
Well,
stuff and Sigmund and the
sure.
Sea Monsters and stuff like that. Love Sid and Marty Croft.
Yeah, the
Cross.
Croft brothers were awesome.
Both are still alive and invited to join us
Oh.
on the podcast at any time.
Really? How
Yeah.
old are they?
A million.
That I don't know, but
How
I
do you know they're
Gotta be
both alive,
super
huh?
They were
old.
both on Gilbert's podcast a couple years ago, and I started following them on Twitter or Instagram, and they post rather often.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know how
Awesome.
old they are, but I could
Good for
find
them.
out.
Then we don't have to do that now. We don't
How
have to.
old are Sid and Marty Croft?
What was that now?
1,000.
That'd be awesome if they were 1,000.
Let's see. Yeah,
Nothing
Siri
like
didn't
doing
give me an
research.
answer. 'cause
Nothing
I
like
asked-
doing
I guess-
research in the middle of a podcast.
I guess because I asked for both. I mean, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a sidekick here that'll work Google as we're talking, so
See,
they
it's
can pull
kind of
that
the
up.
producer job, but we're dragging him into the episode too because he can't sit here and just.
Yeah, and I'm terrible at looking up stuff. Jason actually is really quick on that. I got to commend you on that.
Thank you. I try. I mean, but it's tough, you know. And I want to keep the episode going along because I know this one's really.
One
We're
of
going to
my-
have to break
really
this into
slow.
2 episodes.
one of my favorite Fletch lines in the movie was "I commend you on your choice," and the guy obviously does not know what commend means. He's like, "I commend you on the choice." So Sid Croft is born in 29, and Marty Croft is born in 37. So actually,
29, so he's pretty old.
he's almost
92, right? 91,
something.
92.
92. Marty Croft is 84. He's 3 months younger than my pops.
I know we can't have Hannah or Barbara on. I know
Those
they're
guys are both
gone,
no
yeah.
longer here.
But we could get Sid. I mean,
If we'd only done this podcast like 40 years earlier, we would have had all sorts of great guys on this.
so we would have been.
We would have had Milton Berle.
but
we would have had Ray Bolger.
think about it, in
we would have had Leslie
then
Nielsen.
we would have been doing the podcast in 1981 in the middle of it being aired. That would have been fun. That would have
Yeah.
been fun. I think that.
And everybody would have been like, "What's a podcast?"
I would have been 7, and we would have had the first podcast. We would have been way ahead of it. We'd be the first podcast.
Been very ahead of the curve.
We would have had that $100 million deal from
yeah,
Spotify.
we're putting this on the internet. People are like, "What is the internet?"
I guarantee you, there's got to be worse out there, right? Podcasts than this. I mean, at least we have a subject, and we do put some. We're putting some content out there.
I mean, people are recording onto their laptops like we did on the first episode.
Again,
inadvertently.
We wouldn't even done that if we were doing this by ourselves. We wouldn't have headphones either.
We'd still be sitting on my couch going like, "Wait,
we'd be,
what?
We'd be
What
watching a different movie.
What are we doing?" Did you say something? I didn't say anything.
Okay,
It's all about you, Brian.
That was fun. I liked looking up the ages of those 3. I thought it was interesting that Al and Ava are the same age.
I thought we were
Leslie
talking about
was
Sid
only,
Marty Croft.
well, that too, but Leslie only being 51 here was
That's
interesting.
crazy, man. He is an old man here. One of my dreams of a youth when I was thinking of writing the story of my life when I was in my 20s. Not that I did anything interesting at all, but Chevy Chase, who we already talked about, and Beverly D'Angelo were going to be my parents in the movie.
Nice.
Not just because they were on vacation, but I thought they both actually looked like my parents. So I thought it would be really cool to have them. And Leslie Nielsen was going to be my grandfather because Leslie Nielsen looks just like my grandfather. And I always thought that would have been cool to get him to play my grandfather.
The grandfather playing younger than the father.
Leslie Nielsen looks pretty hot in this episode though.
Wow.
Like he nailed that blonde.
He kind of ruins it with his pants later on.
Way high up. He's riding those
the pants are
high.
terrible, yeah.
high.
I did do that. Well, yeah, see.
And no belt either. I don't get that look. Is that
is that a 70s? Is that a 70s look?
Like, your gut holds up your pants.
You got to buy your pants that have to be a perfect fit, right?
Perfect
then,
fit.
Yeah,
Perfect fit, and don't breathe. Don't exhale.
Don't eat. You can't go out to
don't do
eat.
anything.
Here we get an interesting scene here. Isaac is singing Ain't Misbehavin'. Can you tell me who originally sang it? Ain't Misbehavin', Stormy Weather is the name of the song.
Oh, you're asking me that as a trivia question.
Yeah, I
Ain't
mean,
Misbehavin'?
I don't think either of you know who sings it, but can you guess what year it's from maybe even?
1945.
I'm going to guess 37.
Okay, it's sung by Fats Weller, 1943.
Oh,
Not bad. So you guys
That's
are.
Weller.
Yeah, I watched the video last night also on YouTube. It was fun. Just because he was singing, I wanted to hear a little more of the song, and it's about cheating, pretty much, a little bit. But so as I'm guessing, was Isaac taking the drinks to them? Because he walks up the steps and sees Leslie kissing that girl, and he turns around and he starts singing more of it.
And let me tell you something. Isaac running up the stairs with 2 drinks on his tray.
Pretty good.
I can't walk my drink to my wife without spilling half of it on my. By the time I get to her, I'm just like, here, lick my arm, and you can drink the rest. But he was running up those steps with 2 drinks on his tray.
And as he walks away, he says, "Your cheating heart will tell on you."
Yeah, I saw those. Yep.
And that was the line from the song.
It almost sounded like he said "Hoochie Mama" too, but I don't think he said "Hoochie Mama." But
I thought he said something along the lines.
It sounded like "Hoochie Mama" when he was coming back downstairs. He's like, "Hoochie Mama," but I don't think that was in 1977.
He does say later he was giving kissing lessons, and he was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Then we get go for.
I mean, Leslie Nielsen, man, fuck him, man. Your wife blew you off. And you're hooking up with some young girl because
she blew him off for a cruise that she had to perform.
And
what
she's
she
a famous person.
She's gonna get crowded on this. He shouldn't have went on this cruise with her. He should have stayed home.
She's Dear Abby, so people are gonna come up to her all the time. He should.
I just love that it's her fault.
No,
she's got to be making good money as is Dear Beverly in her book. And he's still pissed. So what does he do that he's so good? Hedge fund? Is he?
They never say what he does.
This is like a secret message to Aaron Spelling's wife.
Candy. That's her name, Candy Spelling.
Why do you know that?
Because I know Tori Spelling and I know Candy Spelling. They had like all kinds of feuds and shit for when Aaron Spelling died.
Is she still alive?
Tori Spelling's still alive.
I know Tori Spelling is. Candy Spelling, is she still alive? The mom?
Candy Spelling, I believe she is still alive.
Wow.
I don't know.
Good for her.
She's probably not that much older than Tori Spelling.
See, I gotta look her up.
Is
now,
she
right?
not her mom?
No, Candy's Tori's mom,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But she's still not that much older? Like, was she like 13? she
Yeah,
had her?
All right, you're
It
saying
was the
Aaron Spelling
70s.
had let's see, Candy Spelling comes up as an American author. Yeah, she was born in 45. She's 75 years old.
Okay.
Oh, wow. She's older than I thought.
So Tori Spelling's probably in her 40s.
Yeah.
So she was probably 30, I guess, or maybe in her 20s when she had her.
But Aaron Spelling was like 100 when he had Tori.
Aaron Spelling was up there. Yeah, he was definitely up there. And we don't talk about Aaron Spelling too much on here. I think we should. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a good guy.
We need to talk to him. Why?
He created the Love Boat. He created Fantasy Island. I mean, come
He
on.
created
90210.
the
Did he
Wow.
create anything?
90210. I mean,
Did
come
someone
on.
walk into his office and say, I got this idea for this
Yeah,
thing? He's
but-
like, yeah, I'll slap my name on that and let's
slap
go.
my name and my money on it, is
Well,
what he said.
then that's the way a lot of things get made, but I don't think Aaron Spelling was the creative drive behind any of these shows. I'm sure Beverly Hills 90210, someone came and said, I got this great idea. He's like, let my no-talent daughter
Yeah.
be in it, and you got a deal.
But all it takes is like, I don't want to do this, and they're like, Aaron Spelling's not doing this, and nobody else is doing it,
Yeah.
and then it never makes it onto the
Yeah.
telly.
And that's why there's a lot of things that didn't go.
Yeah,
Love Boat somehow got 3 pilots. A lot of shows get 1.
I'm
And,
gonna watch
and
it.
some shows don't get any.
I think I might watch the pilot. Another one of those pilots this week.
Are we doing a Love Boat show?
The Love Boat pilot.
Should we all watch it and do a show on it?
Are you guys ready for that?
You're just like saying, like, I guess I'm gonna watch a Love Boat show.
Did you
and-
find it?
I think I found that one. Right? That's the one. Didn't I send
Oh,
it
that's
to
when
that
you
one
sent the
time?
link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just do it and then talk about it by yourself. Be like,
I know. I was
So
gonna.
here I am
no,
talking
I'm
about
saying
the
I
Love
wanna-
Boat.
I was just saying I was going
Wouldn't
to
it
watch.
be nice if I did a podcast about that and people want to talk about it?
Well, we're releasing our first episode soon. We'll talk about that. Right?
Tonight?
It's
Get the hell
exciting.
out of here.
Yeah.
We don't even have the second episode ready to go.
Oh, yeah. We need to do that.
Or we're going to do that next week because
We've been doing this one for 4 fucking hours.
We've only been doing it for 2.5 hours.
Let's continue on.
Sorry, I
here.
thought we were taking pictures for the first little boy pictures. You're not going to Photoshop me with a little kid, are you?
You don't know what I'm going to do with that.
God.
So Gopher here is offering a lectern to Ava, and she doesn't want it. She just wants to be able to stand up there and talk. Gopher then tells her, "I'll have everything ready for her lecture on Sunday," and then Isaac comes out and he says he talks about Leslie giving kissing lessons to one of the lady passengers, and he was a good teacher. Isaac has it all figured out right here, basically, too. He tells him that they're cheating, and once again, Isaac figured it out because he knew he had the Connie situation figured out early.
Isaac's the smartest man on the boat. He also seems to be the only one that cares.
He seems very thoughtful, and caring, but I feel like we don't get enough. I still feel like we don't get enough of him.
He is relegated to like the least important cast member.
I'm Team Ted here. I got to tell you.
His laugh in the opening when he like does the double shoot thing, and then he
Yes.
laughs after it. It always cheers me up.
I know exactly that little. It's a little GIF I see all the time. I use it every now and then.
Not a GIF.
Is it a GIF? I always mess that up.
Graphic interface.
The
I would say
the
GIF.
creator
GIF. So yeah.
insists to use GIF,
Really?
but I believe it's correctly GIF. I say
I'm
go
just saying
against him.
because it's graphic. I would
Yeah,
say
the way
GIF.
because the G in graphic is G.
and
So, yeah.
GIF is a peanut butter.
It's
And a good
delicious
one- and a
peanut
good
butter
one,
too.
with
Yeah,
that.
I'll give you that.
Finally, we agree on something. How many episodes or how much time left in the show?
Right here, I thought
An hour
was-
and a half.
No, we're at 28 minutes, so we got about 22 minutes left on this.
Yeah, we haven't
episode.
even hit the kitchen scene yet.
You still don't know what the strike is.
That's right. At this point, I'm going like, I don't get the strike. 28 minutes in, I don't know what the strike means. Is someone going to hit somebody, striking them?
So here we
in the
get
face?
Bobby smoking
I might
his
need to
pipe
take a
here.
second break in the middle of this 45.
Do you think he was a big smoker? Do you think that's how he got the cancer? Maybe not because you think about it,
He had
died
like
of-
a
it was
weird
like a
kind of
carcinoma
rare
or something,
cancer.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't like something like lung cancer. It was a strange
I
kind
bet you
of.
the smoking didn't help though.
Well, probably not. But 55 he died at. 55.
Right here is what I wanted to show you too. Look at it. It says there, Pacific Princess, and what's it say
It
underneath
says
that?
London.
Yeah.
Where's that?
What does that mean? London.
Oh, London. Oh, I thought it was on loan from someplace.
That should be where the boat's registered out of.
So it's registered out of London, England.
Well, most of these boats don't register in
But
America.
that's
'cause
what I
then
mean.
they
But
would be,
you would think that it would. I don't know. That seems far
But-
from California.
I think it's a technicality. It's just they're not registered in America because then they would have to be subjugated to American working regulations, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to have to give people 8 hours rest after 8 hours work or breaks here and there and lunch. Because
I would have thought that they would go for something
as
in the
generic-y white as this cast is, besides Ted Lang, that's not what these ships have on them. It's not. It's a bunch of people not born in America just trying to get a couple bucks.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have thought that they would have been, if that's the case, that they would have been like registered in the Pacific somewhere, since that's closer.
I think over time they started registering out of like the Caribbean.
Okay, that makes
Yeah, a lot of them are like Bahamas and stuff like that, right?
where you can have like all those secret funds and shit like that.
Yes.
Okay,
Go by the Bahama working regulations, which are none.
I just put a star there because that's what I know. I mentioned that it said London, and I wanted to point it out to you guys there. But right here we had.
Where's the Titanic out of?
That was out of England, right?
Yeah, I think in London.
I think it was Liverpool, actually.
Oh, Liverpool.
I think so. But I could be wrong.
That's not a port town.
I don't think they have to be.
But that's where the Beatles are from.
Are they?
Liverpool, yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nice. This podcast goes all over the place, I'm telling you. So again, Bobby's smoking his pipe, but he decides to go down the stairs almost immediately as this scene starts. And it sets up for the second trope of this nature, where Jeff Smith, who you know that it's the husband now,
Yes.
and as soon as he leaves, who arrives? Gail and Doc.
Yeah.
So it's just that TV trope of the person that they need to bump into always leaving right before they get to that spot.
And I heard her say, "Oh, that smells like
She
my
sits in the
husband's
exact same chair.
tobacco." And I remember, like, when she said that, I was like, "Why would she say that?" I don't think I know.
She smelled Jeff's tobacco. She said, and the baby kicked.
And the baby kicked. I remember saying that. I don't think I remember Jeff actually lighting a pipe up, or is he smoking a pipe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I remember him actually doing that. So I'm sitting on the chair, and then he got up and walked away.
He had the pipe in his mouth. He took it out, and then he walked down the
I
steps.
probably just didn't even realize what he was doing. But then when she said it smells like Jeff's tobacco, I was like, that was a really weird thing that she said. I don't get why she would say that.
She also said that she wanted the baby to know his father, and Doc
Is that his
said
tobacco
that-
smell? That's
yeah.
your father's tobacco smell.
And Doc
right
said,
there.
I don't have any more dry shoulders, Gail.
I
And then,
really didn't catch any of that about the baby.
And Doc is sitting here going like, I
Doc-
put in
Doc
a lot of time here. Let's get it on.
Actually, Doc tells her to tell her husband that she wants to.
Doc's like, listen, I saw some broad upstairs that, I don't
Doc
think
says, put some of those quarters that you want in the phone. And
Doc's still bitter that he didn't split the quarters.
And he said, and she goes, maybe I'll hit the jackpot again. So she's
Doc's like, that was like $3.75. Where's
Doc
my money?
wanted some of that. Like, there must not really be paying well on this.
They probably don't get paid good at all. They
Yeah,
get
but he's
free
a Doc.
room and board.
He's got to get something here. And
I feel
maybe
he
free
is like
profos.
I feel he's like a disbarred. Not what when you're not a lawyer that's disbarred. You're a doctor that's been
what did it call
drummed
that?
out of the academy.
A bad doctor.
Yeah, but when you're
you're disbarred as the lawyer. Yeah. There's a word for it.
I think
can't
Doc
think of-
is that.
Sorry.
And he's working on his boat because he's like, listen, no one else will take me.
Do you think that he can't work in like a hospital or something like that?
I mean, later on, I'll say this is the second baby he's delivered. I think there were a lot of unsuccessful deliveries in between 1962 and 1977.
In our
because he
10 or 11
he says 62 was the year he graduated medical school. Now it's 1977, so it's 15 years later. A lot of dead babies. A lot of dead babies.
Yes.
I think that's why he's on his boat. This is my second successful delivery.
Oh, nice. That was almost right. I was almost there.
Almost there.
You got to keep your hand on that at all times, right?
For all his gold. Oh, my God. I got to hit the drums just right.
At least we're getting more of that and not the wow, wow, wow.
That's got to be a T-shirt too. A lot of dead babies.
I'll tell you what I wanted to say here is this is our 11th episode if you count our pilot and then the 10 episodes. Doc will be, you already spoiled a little bit. We did all together. We said that there's going to be a baby, his second baby, but most that Doc has done before this is just handed out sedatives. That's basically all he's done so far. Like how much
on the cruise
how many
ship,
drugs?
Besides getting married 4 times,
Like
yes.
how much drugs do you think they have on this boat? Like
How does he get them? Does he like call up the local pharmacy when
Also-
he gets back in port and says, "I'll need another"?
how does
1,000
he give them out?
milligrams of
Don't you think there should be somebody else giving them out?
Yeah, because
I
that's
would-
like a
I would
prescription,
think
right?
so.
Well, they are in Mexico. He can probably get whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's probably getting Mexican Quaaludes really cheap down there.
That's probably what they are. They're not like American sedatives.
Well, he's
Johnson
just saying
Johnson
sedatives,
didn't
so we
make
don't know
these things.
exactly what it is. Yeah, he's just saying sedatives. So, but
You got something to say there?
love to have you on if you watch an episode sometime, guys. So,
Special guest Logan and Dom.
love to have you on.
Love to have you on.
Okay. Doc tells her to tell him again, maybe win the jackpot again, and then we see some.
Doc's like, am I gonna get her or not? Like, am I wasting my time on this whole cruise?
we finally get to Sunday because Beverly's giving her lecture, so that's how we know it's Sunday.
Now, is this like the last day or the second day or?
I don't. I want to say I have how many pages left do I have here? I have 3.5 pages left.
So this is the third day.
So this could be almost the day before the last, maybe I don't know. But we get Beverly here at her lecture. She orders a drink, which is just really random. We got Leslie and a lady talking, asking her questions. Or Leslie and the lady talking. I'm sorry, Leslie's the lady. I got Leslie and Beverly mixed up here. Leslie's talking to the lady up on the deck, which I thought was weird. If he was being like seeing this other woman, why is he so out in the open with it?
Oh yeah, he's
Right,
not
right.
subtle at all.
I thought that was a little odd.
This guy says, when I'm graduating, I
Gail
want
was
to
going to
marry.
ask a question here,
the-
but she says never mind.
The guy in the crowd says, "I want to ask you a question. I'm
Where should I go?
graduating. I want to marry my wife or something like that." I'm like, this guy must be graduating from his 75th year of college.
Did you see
I was
how
like,
old
this
he
guy
looked?
is not graduating from college. As soon as he said, "I'm graduating next year," I'm like, from what?
Leslie looked
You
younger.
are 100 years old.
Leslie and his white hair looked younger than that kid that just is about to graduate school here. But Gail was going to ask a question, and she says, "Never mind." I thought that was interesting.
Oh, did she? I didn't pick
Yeah.
up on that. No.
Then Gopher says he has a.
Now, is this her big
question.
seminar? Is this why she's on the cruise?
Yeah, I just said that.
They paid her to be on this cruise.
They paid her to be on this cruise,
and
then
she's
have
talking to
questions
30
asked.
people.
Yeah.
Okay. You would think that they'd at least want her in an auditorium with,
I was
maybe
going to say,
a couple
don't they have
hundred people.
the room with where they had the performance? Where Charo
Yep.
performed. You know, why weren't they in there? I wonder.
She's on the the deck outside.
She's on the deck
and
where a lot of people just walk by to
couple
order
people
drinks
there.
and jump in the pool
Yep.
there. I mean,
Yeah, and there's people swimming behind her at any
but
point.
there's a couple people that are like leaned up against the wall of the pool listening
Listening.
to her. I thought it was
Speak up, I can't hear you.
And there's somebody splashing like shh, shh.
And she's an advice columnist. She's Dear Abby. All she's doing is saying,
She's just saying the exact
use
thing they
your-
want to hear. Basically,
use your napkin. Don't burp in his face.
Like use the third fork from the right when you're eating your salad.
That's right. Always eat from farthest out in. Yeah, that's how it goes.
So you don't go into the middle of your plate. You start on the edge of your plate.
Like when whatever meal comes first, you use your farthest to the left fork.
Oh, all right. I thought you were saying.
you
I thought you were
use-
saying about eating the plate.
You
the
use
plate.
your
Thank you.
utensils in.
And then what's the international sign for when you're done?
I thought you were going to ask me what the international
That was
sign
coming
for
next.
choking
But isn't the
was.
international sign for when you're done is like you cross your utensils on the plate,
And throw your napkin on the plate.
And you flip over your fork.
flip over the fork. Okay. So there's like 70 things you have to do to tell them you're done.
I would say my
Or
international
just
sign for I'm
garçon.
done is my napkins on my plate. My wife would say that is the grossest thing I've ever seen, and don't do that. So
And you're like, garçon?
garçon.
Check.
That means a young man.
I thought garçon is French, is a waiter or something like that, maybe, or
Did you ever watch Pulp Fiction?
a while ago. Garcon.
He uses garçon, and she comes up and just like that means young man,
Oh, I forgot.
and she's a woman.
I get it now. So it's not really a man; it's a woman. I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gopher asks a question, asking for a friend, basically. And
he asks the exact scenario that she's in.
Yeah, and she gives an answer saying that if this man is being ignored by his spouse, he has a right to wander. So I'm not married, but I'm going to let you guys chime in on this.
Yeah, wives, take note of this. This is what Dear Beverly says.
She's basically saying hall pass, right?
I think that's what she's saying.
Screw whoever you want if I'm not taking care of you.
But what's a certain amount of time? It's like if your wife ignores you for once, you're like,
27 minutes.
If you're like, hun, and she's like talking to somebody else, and
like, that's it.
That's it.
I'm banging this chick right now in the bathroom. Let's go. And that chick's throwing up. I'll be like, thank you.
It's like, he just raped me.
That's not funny.
All right,
I'm not raping anybody.
Cut that out, Brian. I apologize. That was the mark.
But really,
no, I thought that was odd. She gives that take, and Gopher knows that Leslie's sitting up on the deck. He saw him. I think Gopher and Isaac.
Yeah, it's
saw
funny
him.
that Leslie Nielsen is so open.
My
with
my wife's giving a lecture. I want to hear it, so let's go make out. I can make out with you, but I can still listen to the lecture. You know what I mean? So we could talk about it later with her, I guess. How great she was. She finally looks up and sees Leslie, and she realizes that she's in that situation.
Well, luckily Isaac gives her a drink during the middle of her speech so that she can look up as she drinks.
Yes.
This is where Gail almost gets, and she's
says, never mind. Yeah.
She's drinking a pina colada, which she has positioned on her pregnant stomach.
It's a virgin pina colada.
They never said virgin.
But
she's drinking.
She's cruising.
We
at
saw
9
Stella
months
Stevens
too, so.
drinking a couple episodes ago in the pilot where she was pregnant and they celebrated with drinks.
That's true.
They were drinking.
It's the 70s.
Oh, I'm not judging. I'm just pointing out.
Who knows what our parents were doing? Again, those Mexican
My mom
Quaaludes,
has told me what she did, and
Mexican
I'm like,
Quaaludes.
look how I turned out. My mom always is like, you turned out fine. I'm like, have you seen me over the last 51 years?
Beverly, after she sees Leslie, she ends her lecture.
Because now she gets it. All of a sudden, she's like, oh, you're talking about me.
Yes. And you could see she starts to tear up a little bit.
Yep.
And luckily, they weren't kissing. She just sees them canoodling, I guess you would say.
They do that tight zoom.
Dun, dun, dun. That's the big reveal.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm out of here, bitches. She drops the mic.
Now, have we not even gotten to the galley scene yet?
We have not, and we're over an hour into the second part.
What's that mean, second part?
We're over 2 hours.
Since you want pee.
Come on, man. We can't do this. This is ridiculous.
But the problem was that we stopped at 17 minutes because you had to, not because you had to pee, but because we took too long in the beginning, and I apologize. We get Julie begging the captain
Like
to
18 minutes left.
begging
It's
the
gonna take
captain.
forever.
Well, no, probably 16 because there's credit. But she's begging the captain to write the apology letter here.
Oh yeah, so
Because
Al and the captain both are on
Al and his crew are finally on strike, so this is where you find out about the strike.
Oh, they say okay, so they're on strike. So I like to point out the fact that Al is a guest chef on this cruise.
Just for a week,
The
because
staff would not strike. The staff would not be like, "Oh, okay,
we're
this
with
guy that's been
Borga.
on this
We're with
cruise.
Borga here.
This guy that's been on the cruise for
The
a
ravioli
week,
and the Menego.
we're gonna strike." But they do. They strike, and now we're in the galley.
I can't remember if I said this off air or on air, but the TV trope of why he had to wear the chef hat.
Love
and
it.
the
Chef's hat
and
with
you
the-
have to have flour on your face in some way to
Well, because
show
you're
to show that you're cooking
rubbing
and having
your
a hard
head.
time
Oh, yeah.
cooking. This is the only way to show that you're having a hard time cooking.
I would just like to point out the fact that no 5 people on the planet, whether it's Stubing and Julie and Isaac and Gopher and Doc, or 5 qualified chefs could cook for 600 people.
And I don't.
It's just not physically possible. There's no way they could do
And
this.
I don't
So-
think Chef Al's team was only 5 people. He had to have a lot of people. Like you said, there's no way. The
But
chef,
they only
he can
show him.
oversee
They only
it,
show
yeah.
him in this kitchen. So
You have to wonder if there's a secondary kitchen, maybe where they.
And this isn't the same kitchen that PJ worked in.
no, it's not.
That one was bigger.
The one they were.
That one had a lot of food. There was like a food on the back on the shelf. In
Where
the background.
Stubing Senior was like macking on her when they first met.
I
yeah.
think he might have done some stuff in there, but that's for the Patreon.
They
Join
had to
the
switch
Patreon,
to a
people.
cream soup.
Julie here, do you know what she's making? She's making a salad. Doc is
And
making he's
struggling to
cooking
make
it.
a salad.
Doc's
And Doc
cooking
is
an
burning
inferno.
something. Doc is
It's
burning
an
something.
inferno right now. We do find out later that Doc was making pork.
But then he said, or it's sole.
It needs to be cooked because it was pork. He
And
said.
he's like, that's pork? And he's like, filet of sole? He's not sure what it is.
He said, I'm only cooking it. I'm not going to eat it.
And then Isaac's making soup, but Gopher thinks it's the
It's the
garbage,
garbage.
so he's just been throwing stuff in there. And Doc tries to stir it, and he's like, "This is the thickest." He says something about the.
He said,
thickness.
Is it? He said it's so thick it's going to stick to your ribs.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the silliest.
Doc tastes it, and you know what he says too? This needs ketchup.
This is the silliest scene in the whole show, but it's supposed to be silly. I mean, these 4 or 5 people.
Doc here also says his pork is offered if anybody wants anything well done. They can have his pork.
And Doc and
Julie
Julie's
then
like,
pleads
"That's
with
pork?"
the captain again to get the
Now, I'd like
apology
to know
letter.
who's serving the drinks, who's steering the boat. Now, no one's going to any medical issues while Doc's down here making his fillet of sole pork.
That's the most important one, and then you got Gopher.
I
He's
think
not going to
Isaac.
do any.
We only see Isaac serving drinks. So if Isaac's down here making food, who's serving the drinks?
We have seen like one other person.
One
serve
other.
drinks,
Okay, so
I mean,
send that turd down here to the galley to make food.
why
Isaac's
wouldn't more of the crew be helping?
Yeah. Where's Lance and Alvin and the other guy?
Simon and Theodore.
Simon, the guy fell down the steps, right? Yeah, where are those guys?
Do you think we get a Theodore too? We could have all the chipmunks here. I don't know.
I'm sure they'll be here over 10 years.
So here we had. What were we? Oh yeah. So Julie was begging Captain again to write the apology letter to Chef, and Steubing says never. And then we get Chef Al arrives, and again, this was the ongoing joke. Tells Steubing that his dough needed ketchup, or was he making dough here for the
Yeah,
bread?
he was making biscuits or
biscuits,
something
right?
like that.
He said his dough needed ketchup, so that's that's an ongoing joke throughout this episode, which is funny because my uncle always teased me when we would go out to breakfast about having ketchup with my pork roll, and I wouldn't put it on my pork roll or egg, but I had fries with it, so I dipped my fries in it.
How old's Al in this episode?
58.
See, he dresses like I would want to dress with the
Hawaiian
big
shirt,
Hawaiian shirt and the beret.
like Gonzo, like yeah.
There you go.
Right? You would wear the beret?
Sure, why not? I'd probably wear a baseball hat. I'm more of a baseball hat guy.
Would you wear it forward or backwards?
Baseball hat?
Yeah.
No, I'm a forward guy.
Yeah, me too. And there's this, isn't there like an age I think where you stop wearing? I didn't really wear it backwards a lot, even when I was younger.
Nah, I
was
probably
always more
did,
of a
but
forward,
I'm more of a forward
and
guy.
a nice tight brim, like a very
Curve.
good curve
Yep.
to it. You know.
I don't like the flat.
Yeah,
one.
like I saw some dude with a Phillies hat the other day. It was the flattest thing I ever saw. And
But it was weird
Like I want to
because
flip it off their head.
the
'cause
flat
it doesn't
thing-
even look like it fits because like you see it like it's like loose on their head. Like I like a nice snug fit with
the
my
flat
hat.
thing
I
became
don't
a
wear lot
thing,
of
and then the
hats, though.
curve became a thing again, and the flat were out. It was very strange.
Oh really? I didn't.
Oh
know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Look
But
at my
I-
hats. Most of them have
You,
bends.
you didn't wear flat though, did you? Did you wear
No,
it flat? Like,
no,
you would always
no,
have like a curve in your hats,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I'm not that cool.
I don't know. And then the ones that wear the hat a little bit to the side, I can't do that either. That's not me. Brian, when he wears his hat that way,
I
that's
don't know
nice.
if I've seen Brian in a hat. Oh yeah, you've got your
In my Key West hat.
He
Well, I was
just-
going to say your daughter's crew hat.
And
yeah,
his
the
Captain
What's this
Chewy.
Hoser.
Hoser.
His Captain Chewy hat.
In my Captain Chewy hat.
Are you talking Hoser from Strange Brew? Because it was just their anniversary of that movie coming out.
That would be
day.
a good podcast.
It came out in 1983.
Wow.
I love that movie. I have the Blu-ray.
Hoser the
if you want
dog.
to do a viewing of that, I have the Blu-ray. We could do a Strange Brew.
I'm not doing a viewing. We have to podcast the viewing.
I'm saying if you wanted to watch Strange Brew, we could talk about it on the other
If
podcast.
we want to do a live podcast of Strange Brew while we watch and talk about it.
Oh, you want to do a live one like that? I could do that. But how would we
No
do it with
pausing,
sound
watching it.
and talking over it?
Mm-hmm.
How would we do it with sound? Would we be able to hear it? Because we can't play the sound for the
We could do these mics and then just have
that go just to hear.
Yeah, and then I can work in the sound somehow.
And we have to video it so that it's just the back of our heads, Mystery Science
I like that
style,
idea,
where we're
yeah.
talking about it.
That's like perfect for over there. I mean,
It
it's
is.
just like,
Perfect right there. We set up the camera like right back here, facing
Yeah.
the show, and it's just our heads blocking it. Because I don't know, there's some kind of amount that you can block, and then it's not copyright protected anymore. Like some of those videos I see online, or they flip it, and now it's
Isn't there
fine to
even?
use.
Isn't there even like? Can't you use like a sound clip sometimes? Is that even like possible? Like, or is it like if you take a sound bite from a movie or something like that? Like,
There
you know, like
are rules against that. Yeah.
but like, is there like any little amount you can do? Like, I know you can't.
No, they it's like a.
Can you have
they think
less?
that some people think you can use like 15 seconds, but no.
If you have less than 5 viewers, does that help?
If you
That
like,
definitely
if you sing,
helps.
like if I sing a song, like, but not the whole song, I sing part of a song. That's I'm not
you
recording and
sing
making
the
money off of it.
song, especially if you, like you can sing the song, especially if you change the lyrics to make them funny, then that's 100%.
But like, what if me or any of us sang a song and it was like the lyrics, but like it was just a line from the song, not like.
That you could get in trouble, I think.
So if I just said,
But if you change the lyrics
oh, I was going
and
to sing something.
parody,
How about if
also-
Andy said like, "Should I wear this?" I'll say, "Just come as you are." Like,
Come as you are.
is that bad?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I have to edit that.
So now Nirvana's going to sue us with the guy with the baby dick. He's going to sue us too. Is he coming after us?
Cobain's gonna sue you.
Come at me, Kurt.
the best meme was that one I sent of the Alice in Chains where the kid was afraid of flies. All right, let's get back into this.
I didn't know we left it.
Yeah. So
So now Steubing walks out,
yes,
and Al doesn't like that, or Al loves it. Al loves that he walked out. He's like,
Chef
yup.
here Al then just says he still says he wants that written apology. I got a little something highlighted here for it because then Julie mentions to everybody, how do you feel about forgery? And Isaac was like, piece of cake. And I got suspended in 7th grade for forgery.
Wouldn't it be great if Gopher right here did Steubing's voice? Like, I can sign his name to anything. Like, that wasn't his voice saying that.
That was the most ridiculous. That's still the most ridiculous thing so far in our 11 episodes, I think.
I mean, this TV trope of the 2 different apology letters with the you're hoping they don't actually discuss it kind of thing. It's so stupid. But
First of all, at one point they wave them to each other.
they walk by each other in the hallway like, I've got your letter.
Ah, you're going to the kitchen to cook, huh? Yeah.
But Steubing, such an ass. Just apologize. Who cares if you mean it or not?
It's
Get the
1
guy
week with this
get
dude
the
on
guy
the
to
boat.
cook the dinner, and then you never have to deal with him again. I have a feeling. I have a comment on that later. I'll wait for it.
You're gonna wait for that, okay?
Yeah, I'll wait.
Coming up here, we get Julie handing Al his
Apology.
apology letter, and then the chef says he'll return to the kitchen.
right away. I'd be like, yeah, I'll take
He
that.
says a maestro's place is with the orchestra,
There you
not
go.
the audience. And right after he says that, here comes my elevator scene with Isaac and Captain
Now,
Steubing.
not only is he wearing the Hawaiian shirt and the hat, he's wearing the Fred from Scooby Doo.
Oh, the ascot?
Ascot. Yeah. He's got-
That's a nice look too. I think would you do
Oh,
that too?
there we
Yeah.
go. Elevator. No,
There's
I'm
our
not an
elevator
ascot guy.
scene. Just the
That's
doorway,
it,
really,
huh?
yeah.
That's it for the elevator.
But I
this
got
episode.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great that you got it. It's just weird that that's all they use. the
So
elevator
Isaac
for.
gives Captain Steubing an apology letter from Al.
And now they bump into each other, each with their own
And they
apology
wave 'em
letters,
to
and they're
each
like,
other.
Hey, how you doing with the apology letter?
And obviously they were both forged. We get Ava. Leslie walks in on Ava and he apologizes that she's working. And she says, no, darling. This one's for you.
I wish I had a good.
That wasn't good.
I wish
but,
I had a good Frank Drebin line walking in, like,
Oh, he's like,
we just like to tell you both good luck. We're all counting
or
on you,
here's
something
a-
like that.
Everywhere I look reminds me of her.
Give me a White Russian. Check that. Give me the strongest thing you got.
So,
I
okay,
want to
so
be a kinder, gentler police squad.
So we had Ava was typing and she says she's got a special column that she wants him to hear, and she's going to go. She's telling her readers that she's going away for 2 weeks with someone special with her Leslie or with her whatever
like
Ross.
8 hours ago, they kind of were hinting at the fact that this was on her because of her fame, and
She doesn't.
he
want
wished that they could go on a vacation where they were kind
want
of
it to be
anonymous
just- yeah.
and just them. So
and she's finally
this
going to
is
give
paying
him that.
off now.
She doesn't want to lose her
15 and a half
husband.
hours later, where we're just going to go off by ourselves now.
She says she doesn't want to lose her husband, and that then Leslie says, "You'll always be Mrs. Russell Blanchard." He's got a life subscription to her column, he says, and
And here's where his pants
she
are
says-
so high up. Look,
Really high up here.
They're almost touching his nipples. They're
Yes.
so high up.
They are above his belly button here.
They're covering the cum stains from us being with that other girl.
Oh, that's ridiculous and so good. So good. This podcast is off the rails, people.
Did he tuck his dick up?
He was hiding the boner. She kept giving him blue balls, right? He was going away. So. One thing though, Leslie here, he was going to say, he's like, sorry. And he was about to tell her about the lady. And she says, oh, no, don't tell, don't confess. So no advice for 2 weeks. And, Brian had an interesting take there. I really enjoyed Brian's take there. So this is almost tying up their story with 12 minutes left in the episode. They hug and they're happily ever together. My pen died during the next scene. I had to get a new pen. That's what this pen is here, so you can see the different color in the notes here that I have. And this next scene is Chef Al cooking, and Julie and Isaac are in there, and Captain pops in.
You know, bad on Isaac and Julie for not distracting Captain to be like,
Get him the
listen,
hell out of there.
Don't go to the kitchen today. How about that? We forged your name on a letter. How about we put you on the promenade deck or something like that?
You got the apology letter. Let him cook, so you don't have any more.
Don't stay away. Don't go in there and instigate. Don't be a dick. Go. Yeah, you know, this is bad on them. They forged his name to a letter,
and he knew Stubing was going to come over and say to him that it was big of him to apologize. And then Chef says it wasn't him, it was you, and then they swap letters here.
I wonder where the liver and onions
Isaac,
is.
when they say, who did these letters? And Isaac goes, beats me. Like right away. And then Julie says, it might be a forger on board. And then Stubing said, this is his kitchen. You work for me. Stubing then comes back to Al and kind of whispers an apology to him. Yeah. So he whispers an apology to him. Finally, son of a bitch. And Stubing says he apologizes because of his line, his crew, his passengers. And then the chef says he's a gentleman. The captain makes a joke here about being the only captain that has dishpan hands.
Yes. This is where I wanted to point out the fact that now we've seen this twice where Stubing has been, I guess, in the right, or he feels he's in the right, where he backs down so quickly. You know, in the pilot episode where
I think
he has them dead to rights with a stowaway, and they're trying to pass her off as Roosevelt and all that, and he just, well, let's just let it go. Here, he kind of just lets it go.
I think this one was a little rushed too because the strike didn't come till late, so they
Yes.
kind of had to wrap it up fast. So it seems like there wasn't much. Like if we saw this earlier on in the episode,
Yep. If there was more of a consequence of them striking,
there was more of a time.
People complaining about their food, like this soup tastes like someone threw garbage in or something like that. But you don't see any of that reaction to the
strike.
crews.
If the strike happened sooner, I think that would have made that whole payoff a little better. I think, you know.
But Stubing just all of a sudden backs down and is like, you know.
Here we get
You're
Doc
right.
coming down the stairs with Gail. She says she's made a call.
Now
and
at this
nobody
point, you know
answered.
she's pregnant,
made
Brian?
a lot of calls.
I mean, she looks very pregnant as she's walking down the stairs there.
No, not till she starts having the baby.
Wow. Can you rewind this just a little bit so
I mean,
you
she
could
looks
see that? I
really
want you to
pregnant,
really see
man.
this.
Yeah, I mean, like
I bring it down to where she's coming down the steps. I don't want to mess it up. It's just a few seconds.
when she's got the daiquiri
Right there.
up. There you go.
How do you not see that?
Well, I see it now.
I see it now.
Do you think you were actually focusing on the scene at the time, or maybe you weren't 100% looking at the screen?
I know I had the laptop on my lap, so maybe I was typing something, or
and you might have been sending us that other episode to listen to or whatever.
That's true.
I really wish that episode didn't have that
What's that?
sound on it.
The static is so bad on it.
I wanted so badly to say that it wasn't, but it's.
When I first started listening to it, I was like, "This sounds great. What's the problem?" Except for the fact that I was coming out of one ear, you were coming out of the other.
It didn't really
I was
bother
like,
me that
"It's all
much,
right."
yeah,
I'm like, "It's weird," but then Then it got staticky. And you don't even know why, right? It just happened.
No, I have no reason.
Was that also when we were still recording off the computer? Or
no, if we were recording off the computer, it probably would have been good.
It would have sounded like the pilot.
But it's weird that, like you said, there was like that 2.5 minutes of perfect, like just because the ear thing wasn't that bad.
And then it just cleared up.
Oh, it gets better later on?
Yeah.
I didn't go into it.
All of a sudden.
I took it to about the middle, and it was still
as soon as it got staticky, I stopped listening.
It was maybe the last 10 minutes is clear.
So that's not even a long podcast, too, because it only was like 48 minutes, I think. It
was back when we knew how to take an hour-long episode and make it into 45 minutes.
It's funny because
an hour-long episode, make it into 17
I said
hours.
something about how, like, we won't be Joe Rogan 4-hour podcasts, and here we are. I mean, but like Brian said, we let the other podcast bleed into this one a little bit.
Well, we're only at 2 hours and 50 minutes right now.
No, that's not bad. Let's finish this up.
This is so stupid.
Again, so Gail's coming down the steps with Doc, and Doc's telling her you got to keep trying because she says she's done a lot of calls. She called his office, and the office said he's on a trip. But you both knew that Jeff was her husband now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't.
You still didn't know yet?
I knew it this time.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it.
So wait, when did you...
Don't pause it. Let the fucking thing run.
No, because we'll lose to the next
It's going to take forever.
No, I have to ask you a question. Like, when did you find out?
I wasn't even... When all of a sudden, when... I don't know. Keep playing.
When they saw each other through the door?
Maybe. I was like, oh, they're together?
She says she's a pessimist here. Doc says she's got a... Doc, basically, the voice of reason. Doc said something about he can heal himself, and
It might have been right here.
Is Doc Wolverine?
Robert Urich and
this is where Julie and Jeff are walking, holding hands.
He's talking about
Why
his
holding
wife.
hands? I thought that was odd. They knew that wasn't
I think
working.
Now all
them.
of a sudden I was like, oh wait a minute, are these two the couple that?
And he says he's going to get in touch with Gail and say I love you to Julie, and Julie's excited.
That's probably about the point where I was like, wait a minute, isn't that another lady named Gail?
Gail sees them hugging through the window
and kissing,
of the door here. Yeah,
they're not. Well,
no, they were hugging.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, something else happens that Brian had no idea was going to happen. This is where Gail goes into labor.
So I realized they were together, and you realized,
I guess you couldn't
she
say,
was pregnant.
I guess you couldn't say, but nowadays you'd say, "Oh, her water probably broke there." That's
Yeah.
probably what the scene would have been.
You can't say that, but Leslie Nielsen could say "mad love." Yeah, maybe. So now all of a sudden
Jeff
they get together.
Jeff and Gail. This is probably where you. I'm hoping you got it now.
Maybe not now, but later.
Right now. So Jeff wants to carry her back to the delivery room or to Doc's
which
Doc's room.
I had a very big problem with at first. At first I said,
okay,
right now we're at Doc's delivery room. He's delivering. I'm like, now where the hell is the delivery room or operating theater on this boat?
We already had
like,
Doc has like a 3-room suite,
and I'm like,
right?
where is this happening? This is not possible that he could just be doing this in his office. But we're going to see that they go back to...
Again, this shouldn't happen because nobody should be on cruises this late in their pregnancy.
When I was a young lad, and it probably wasn't this episode, but my mom would always make fun of women that were giving birth, how it was so fake looking.
Oh, on
so
TV,
I always look for that now, no matter who it is. No matter who's giving birth in a movie or a TV show.
I have a best birth scene.
This woman doesn't even, her face doesn't tense up. She just kind of goes like, oh my God, I'm having a baby.
At one point,
I was like, she's
at
not
one
even
point, don't they make
faking
it
the
seem
fact.
like something bad's going to happen?
Yeah, because they're all kind of waiting for the baby to cry.
And also,
it's
like her face is like when Doc's like, yeah, do this, and she's like, I was like, is she gonna die and the baby's gonna live?
I thought the baby was gonna come out dead. For a second there, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be a stillbirth.
But one of my favorite television births was on the Cosby Show, and was
it one of Bill Cosby's rape victims that he got pregnant?
I thought we said no rape. You cut out my rape joke. Can we keep his in? No, keep his in.
Right.
That was good because it's Bill Cosby. It's topical.
I mean, Bill Cosby's a rapist, right?
It's funny though because
I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying
Cosby Show's still playing on TV as well.
I wouldn't,
but it was the newer one after the first one. You know what I mean? When they were all grown up.
Was it still called the Cosby Show?
It's still called the Cosby. I think one was called Cosby and one was called the Cosby Show.
I remember he had a show afterwards with Madeline Kahn and Felice Rashad on it.
Yeah, but it's a birth episode.
You're probably talking about the one.
I'm talking
Theo
about the original one
like
when they were younger kids, Vanessa and all them. Yeah, and all the guys were were in labor, so like they gave like whatever their birth was like something they were into. Like Theo was like something sports related, I think. And when Cliff was given his baby, it was a hoagie.
I remember he was the big fan of the long Sammys. Yeah.
But it was just funny because I guess because he was a OBGYN, right?
That's right. He was. Yeah. She was a lawyer.
She was a lawyer because I'm a lawyer. Here again, what you just mentioned, how everybody's saying, "What's taking so long?"
So now they're
Why don't they know that birth takes a long time?
It was at
sometimes?
this point where when they went back to our guys in the waiting room here. This is Doc's waiting room. I was like, oh, they're giving birth in like Doc's office where he slept on the bed when Charo was sleeping in his room. They're giving birth there.
Remember he slept on the operating or the
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The examination table or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way they're in that office. It looks way too big.
That couch looks familiar though, because that's where they fought. Remember?
No, it is. They're right on the other side. They're going to go in.
So that other room there, I always thought was his bedroom.
No, this is the
exam room, and then his bedroom.
Yeah,
right?
but it is definitely the exam room. She's
that's
having
the
baby
waiting
because
room they're in there.
When they go back into it now, when they go back in after our guys talk about it, it's totally that room. Here comes Captain Steubing in.
And Steubing says the same thing. Like, why is it taking so long?
He's like, is he really a doctor? Like,
they question Doc being a doctor here. Doc
because she's not having the baby fast enough where she punch her in the stomach?
Right here, when Isaac sits down, Captain seems annoyed that he sat down next to him.
I didn't pick up on that. They seem to be cool.
Doc Steubing does have a mean look on his face.
He's saying something. He kind of stops and looks at Isaac, and then
Captain, when he came in, he said, "Has my new passenger come aboard?"
Yes,
that was his.
I was wondering if Steubing twice in the past. Okay, so now we're back in this is definitely his
Doc
examination.
How about when
room.
Doc goes like this towel?
When I saw it the first time, this is his examination room where they're having the baby. It looks exactly like where he was sleeping when Charo slept in his actual bedroom. But
okay.
But
he wouldn't have all his medical stuff in here, right?
The scene before this, what was it?
Where they realized that they were Gail and Jeff were on the boat.
Damn. Oh, with Steubing saying, "Is my new passenger on board?"
Yeah.
Now we've seen him twice with Charo and with Frankie Roosevelt. Ask about, you'll be paying for your cruise now. We've caught you as a stowaway. And is he going to make the baby pay as a
ticket price?
A person that has not paid to ride on this boat? That's what I was thinking.
But I guess like a baby, even if you did bring a baby on, when they up to a certain age, you think it's free?
I was kind of hoping Steubing would say, we'll of course be collecting your fee after this.
We'll be sending you a bill. Does she get a bill for this delivery from Doc?
This is not cheap. Well, they make a comment. He's like, the bill was in the mail because.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, does he really charge her, or is that included in your cruise?
I mean, if it's an all-inclusive cruise, you might.
She paid an ass all before this.
How that ends is weird too.
That's right. That's why Doc was all over her. He's like, listen.
So we find out. Doc says he's been delivering babies since medical school. 1962. And he says, are you really done this? Robert Urich says to him, and he's like, yeah. And then he's like, this is the second time. So it was like
second successful one.
He did one in medical school, I guess, in 62, and then this was his second one in 77, 15 years later.
# lots of dead babies.
Lots of dead babies.
When this episode gets released, we'll have to put that in the Twitter.
Lots of dead babies. And then that's it, right?
No, Doc says hi to the drink lady here.
They had the Locklear Thomas lady, yeah.
And the whole cruise goes by.
She is going through her purse, just the top of her purse.
Yep.
For 15 seconds before what is she looking for in the top corner of that thing?
Why would she have opened it further? If she didn't find it there, obviously.
Digging with the first knuckle of her fingers. What's going on
They
here?
make a comment about why I didn't meet you on the cruise, but I thought, well, Doc didn't meet her because he was with Gail the whole damn cruise.
And then the
sister comes by here and she says, that's the man that was with the pregnant lady. And then she goes, that's the lady that was dear Beverly's husband.
And they say something like, you're a sex fiend. And she's like, I wish I had met you earlier.
Yeah,
and Doc is like, my boner.
That was like, Kay. Kay called him a sex fiend.
Right, but then Heather Thomas Locklear says, I wish I had met you earlier.
She said, I really wish I met you earlier.
And Doc's like, I got 15 minutes before we debunk. Let's go.
Then we had Ava and Leslie here basically saying thank you to Gopher. Gopher then what's he's gonna
Leslie Nielsen's 51 here. He's my
Yeah.
age here.
yeah. Gopher says thank you. It looks like it's gonna work out for his friend. And
Wow.
Leslie asks, "What's that about?" And Gopher says, "Oh, he has 2 hamsters. It was just something silly." So, but he was happy that they were back together.
Yep.
And we get Chef Al. He's leaving. Captain tells him he's a great chef. He could sail with him anytime.
Yeah, Merrill and Antonio
we
are
won't.
best
We won't
friends
see him
now.
again. He thanks him in Italian.
At one point, they just say when he speaks. Most of the time,
He said it
the
was the-
credits just say speaks in Italian. They don't actually say. But when he says "arrivederci" here, they actually put
yeah.
"arrivederci" in the.
He said,
subtitles.
He said, "Thank you. It was the best chocolate souffle I ever had." And
Because-
he said he put ketchup in
Yes.
it. It was one more time with that.
But he never comes back as a celebrity chef later on.
That's the
No.
only episode he does of the
Only
Love Boat.
episode.
Yeah,
Now,
he's only in one
this
episode.
is pre, post, in, during
Happy Days. It's Happy Days was 74. So
You
when
would've
it
thought-
started. I told him that.
You would have thought that when Joni Loves Chachi came out, they would have wanted him to come on and
Well,
do a
he is
special
on.
show.
He was on Joni Loves Chachi for like 19 episodes, which is almost all of them.
was Happy Days ABC same channel.
I want to say yes. I think Happy Days was ABC.
You would have thought they would have used
I
him
think
more.
so too, yeah.
You would have thought they would have used him.
And what's
more
funny
to-
is this was ABC, but then when you watch it on Paramount Plus, it says CBS.
Yeah,
because
well,
they bought it out. You know, it's
I guess
they're
Paramount
bought it now.
didn't have its own channel back then, so they just
Yeah.
farmed everything out.
And then we get Jeff and Gail. Is this where you figured out?
Not what that she was pregnant or that they were together. Which one of you?
When she
Which
had
one of
the-
us are you laughing at? Because I'm not sure what's happening.
I think
yet.
I'm asking both of you.
I knew everything by now.
Andy?
I'm not quite sure yet that I know that he's the dad of this baby, but I think they make it clear right now.
Well, Gail hasn't been with anybody else unless she had is that midichlorians, something like that.
I think it's a Mandalorian. Boba Fett banger.
I'm sorry, this is where my pen died out right here. Yeah. So he's coming home for you, or he's coming home with them. Yeah, he says he's coming home for you, for us, especially for me. I need you, Gail. Gail, Jeff, Baby, and the crew are now all standing there. Doc says he'll send his bill in the morning, which we mentioned before. And then he says, Julie, you're a good friend, a heck of a marriage counselor. Julie says she'll send her bill as well.
How much does she charge an hour?
That's a good question. And then she's saying goodbye to your uncles, and then goodbye to Cleo.
Uncle Doc, Uncle Isaac.
Isaac says
Uncle
goodbye,
Gopher.
Cleophas.
Cleophas, yeah.
And then,
Oh, that's right. That was his name that he gave him earlier on. I don't
Aunt
get
Julie,
that reference.
then
I don't
Uncle
know
Merrill,
Cleophas.
and then
I'm
Gopher
sure
says
Brian knows it. What's Cleophas? What's that name mean? What's the reference there?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, because he said it. Like,
yeah,
it was
he
almost like a
mentioned that
family name or
earlier.
something.
Yeah. And then Gopher says it's Uncle Merrill, sir. And the last line that Stubing says is, "You do have something to declare in customs." So now was that baby born in international waters? Like,
I think it's on a. Well, I was going to say an American boat, but it's a British boat, right? Because they're registered in London. So,
is that baby?
can that baby ever run
that's
for
gonna
president?
Be tricky.
Is that like Ted Cruz trying to run for president? He was born in Canada, or McCain in Panama, but McCain was on a American base, which counts.
I'd also like to point out that this is another husband that's got away with just moving in with another woman and then coming back and being like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
And also, you can even count Leslie Nielsen in that. Wandering off and having some fun. Yeah,
two husbands that got away with cheating,
all 4 episodes,
and
right,
it was
Andy?
the wife's fault.
All 4 episodes, what?
All 4 stories in this little episode. You know what I mean?
I got to be honest. I don't count as it's happening. I don't say the strike one. I was looking
The strike
for. I
one
was
was
like, "Where's the
definitely-
strike one?" And I thought maybe that had something to do with Robert Urich, but I never once put together the fact that those two are a couple in their
Yeah.
story. I didn't think their stories were. At one point, I was thinking to myself when they first got together, when I realized they were a couple, I'm like, that's the first time that they've done that on the Love Boat so far that we've watched, where
Yeah.
2 separate stories have intersected and become one. Until I realized I was watching one story the
story.
whole time.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize I was.
But also,
I didn't realize
the
Darth
strike.
Vader
I
was
think,
Luke's father until halfway through Return of the Jedi,
I think
where they were all of a sudden spelled it out real. When Yoda said, your father he is. I'm like, oh.
Not knowing the
So when he said it at the end of the other movie, I didn't realize that's what it
not
meant.
knowing what the strike was probably threw you off a little bit with the storyline, with the story.
The strike,
too.
yeah, that was a bad title for that.
It should have
It
just
should have been
some
like
Chef Borga.
Yeah, it should have been
Something
Chef
like that,
Borga
yeah.
or the Hell's Kitchen or
Chef
something
versus
like that.
Captain or
Yeah.
something like that. You know.
The strike was a miss.
But now I think this is one of your favorite parts of the podcast. Now, where we
The
talk
end?
about the next episode
Oh.
and
who
the
end's my
we'll
favorite
talk about
part.
the special guest, but we'll forget about it until we watch the episode next.
I was
right before.
surprised when not Leslie Nielsen. I knew he was going to be in it, but obviously Zsa Zsa Gabor, Ava Gabor. I
yeah,
didn't know
Ava.
which one it was. I was like, oh, did we talk about her already? And
But even Robert
Al,
Urich was a nice little.
yeah, he's like I never saw Spencer for Hire.
I never
or
watched those
vague-
shows either.
Vague dollar
And
sign.
again, I really did not know he
Vague,
died young. I was
Yeah.
surprised he was that young. But next week we have a Christmas episode.
Oh, should we save this one? And we're in the middle of August.
Well, if we
tape
start
these.
releasing now,
Right.
that'll be the
Should we
12th
hold this off
episode.
so this next episode actually airs the week of Christmas?
Well, it's gonna be in 10 weeks.
yeah, so it'll almost be Christmas.
So
by then.
there'll definitely be trees up in like Target.
It'll be
and
like
stuff
Thanksgiving
that.
time.
Yeah. So some of the special guests for this one are John Gavin. I don't know who that is off the top of my head.
Yep.
I'm a little excited about our next one, Shecky Green. That's right, Shecky Green is in this.
I know him
Christmas
from one
episode.
thing, History of the World Part 1, but I know other things of him, about him.
Oh yeah, he's so. That's
He became an ornery old man. I know that
Yes,
about
he
him.
has. Florence Henderson,
Our third Brady Bunch person,
Donna Mills,
Donna Mills.
That's from.
Parent Trap.
I was also
Right.
thinking the Tom Hanks Peter Scolari show. What was that?
Bosom Buddies? No, it's
Bosom
Donna
Buddies?
Dixon.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Donna Mills.
She's
was,
known for,
Fantasy
Knots
Island or Knots
Landing.
Landing,
Yeah.
but she was also
General
in
Hospital.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure right at the end when it was.
No, wasn't that Morgan Fairchild?
Oh, was that Morgan Fairchild? I've
Yeah.
always
In the
forever
movie,
gotten
yeah.
the two of them mixed
in
up.
the movie,
yeah.
right where it's like,
Yeah,
where it's
Beijing,
like-
Mr. Herman. Yeah, Donna Mills and
You know
and
what? It
Morgan
was his
Fairchild
birthday the
have
other day.
always got mixed up.
69 he turned. Pee Wee
Paul
Herman,
Rubens.
69. Yeah.
All right.
his favorite birthday.
Dick Sargent,
Okay, he was one of the
Darrens,
Bewitches.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dean Santoro, I don't know off the top of my head, and Steve Allen making his second appearance.
Wow.
Guess who
already,
else is
huh?
making their second appearances?
Another-
There's two more
another
people.
Wait, two more people, both making second appearances.
And-
Wait, so
yeah,
Steve Allen
and those three with Steve Allen. The other two were in the same episode with Steve Allen.
but we're not. Are they the same character? Are they coming back for a return engagement?
It doesn't say what Lonnie Anderson's name is
Lonnie
here.
Anderson. Oh, and they were hooking up in that
and
one, right? Oh, yeah.
and it
yeah.
doesn't. It says Sandy Duncan's name is Sharon.
Come on.
Yeah,
Sandy Duncan was just on last week.
I know. How
Is
great
she
is
back
that?
already? But wait, wouldn't it be great if Lonnie
Maybe
Anderson?
you know what I
is-
think they might be doing, because think I've seen this in episodes where throwing streamers sometimes had people from other episodes. They're not in this,
Oh, it's just they're pulling old.
but they make it look like
clips.
they were on the same boat. So they're just telling different stories that happened.
But I thought it would be
possibly,
funny if
yeah.
Steve Allen and Lonnie Anderson came on this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my marriage didn't work out." Whoever it was I forget her name now. The
Steve
woman that
Allen. Let me see if it's the same character real quick here, because I don't think he was in a lot.
and Lonnie Anderson by now. Well, I guess it's only a couple of weeks later. You know,
Donna Mills is very hot.
yeah,
The episode that we saw with Steve Allen, he was Durwood Moss.
that's right, Durwood. Yes,
His
Durwood.
name in this episode is Mr. Moss.
I'm kind of excited.
That's our. I think that's
Unless
our,
it's just some shitty Steve Allen throwing confetti, and they're like, "Oh, we're using that clip, and we have to
I,
credit him."
I do hope it is. I hope it's a Bon Voyage scene with Lonnie Anderson and Steve Allen, because then what we see, will it be where they were kind of like about to hook up? Remember before,
Right.
They were like hanging out a lot.
Yep,
and everything,
because she
so-
was talking, because his wife was talking to the insurance salesman.
Yes, yes.
I forgot her name now. She was in Sopranos. Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, conceivably, he could just be.
It's inconceivable. Andy said it earlier. He said it was inconceivable. What are you doing?
I was thinking that his wife might have ignored him for 2 minutes, and then this is his.
And he's like,
You
"I'm
know,
leaving."
we should go back and look at that episode. I believe he was ignored at some point too. But I'm
Well,
gonna.
she was like Mac. Remember, that was the one where they were on vacation separately.
they were
next
supposed
to
to be
each
on
other.
separate vacation, and then they were right next to adjoining rooms basically. But again, you can reach us at the Exciting and New podcast, or Exciting and New on Twitter. Jason Jesus74 at Twitter.
I'm Andy.
And I'm
Oh,
Brian.
wow.
At the end.
Wow.
Fucking producer, man.
This has been the exciting
If anybody
new
wants to
podcast.
produce the exciting new podcast for us,
But can we keep the equipment?
and provide all your own equipment and all your time dedicated to editing all this nonsense.
Could you imagine us trying to edit?
No. Goodbye. Bye.